Hello, everyone, and welcome to Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus, powered by Fairway Food Stores. You got me, Andy Kretzinger. You got him, Hunter Moeller. You got Peter on the ones and twos, Peter Camp. We are here for a special episode. I say it's a special episode pretty much every week, and guess what it is? But it's extra special this week. We're ready to preview the 2025 State Track and Field Championships, the biggest time of year probably for area sports, just as far as everyone put together. And you're looking at a couple guys that'll be on the Blue Oval this weekend. Hunter Thursday, me Friday and Saturday. So stop and say hi about Hunter. We got all sorts of qualifiers this year.
A ton. Ton of qualifiers.
Not only a ton of qualifiers, a ton of the big thing is we have a ton of potential winners, or at least a handful. We got a lot of kids that are up there in the top 5, top 10 in their events. We're just going to roll through the qualifiers and then we'll talk about what we're excited for. So I'll start with the 3A. So the big schools, cool. Mount Pleasant, Fairfield, and Washington. There's a three-way tie for 9 as far as events qualified between the Mount Pleasant girls, the Washington boys, and the Fairfield boys. The Panther girls, so Mount Pleasant and Washington were in Mount Pleasant and Fairfield were in Mount Pleasant, where I was on Thursday. Washington was up in Mount Vernon. Luckily, our man Ben Lamprick was able to get us a couple of pictures there, so we got all 3 in the newspaper. But the Mount Pleasant girls, one of the teams that we definitely have been paying attention to as a team that's got a lot of potential this year. SEC girls champions. They got 9. They got a lot in the sprints. Alex Scott qualifies in the 1 and 2. Kaya Sanders qualifies in the 1. They got the 4x1 team and the 4x2 team. The 4x2 team. So the 4x2 team, Hunter, didn't even win the qualifier. They got second, but they broke a new school record for Mount Pleasant, and they got second to Clear Creek by like 0.02 of a second. And Clear Creek and Mount Pleasant are the top 2 qualifiers going into that event, so that'll be a huge one. The place where Mount Pleasant could get the most points is probably those 2 relays, 4x1 and 4x2. Mount Pleasant also got the sprint medley through. And they got some field events. They have a couple of long jumpers and Izzy Sloat and Lindsay Striegel, who will be jumping on, I think girls 3A is on Thursday. I think that's a U event, maybe. The girls 3A jumps. The girls 3A long jump. Because the boys high jump.
2A and 3A long jump for the girls are on Thursday. So I mean, I'll see. We'll get to it. We'll get to. I mean, the 2A jumpers, obviously, right. Mid Prairie's. Georgie Evans, pretty much, top 2 jump in that. So, but we'll get to the 2. I'll let you finish up the 3A, and then.
Oh, I was gonna say, luckily for you, I looked at the starting list, and Sloat and Striegel from Mount Pleasant are jumping back to back. So, that's a lucky break for you. And then we have Ella Ensminger, and the shot put 6th best throw. That Fort Madison girl throws so far that sometimes when you watch other girls throw, you don't realize how good they had it. But Ella Ensminger has a 6th best shot put throw, 39 feet, 3.5 inches. So she's got a shot to score in that one. And so I'm just going to run through the rest of the girls because a common theme here has been that Washington and Mount Pleasant girls are good at the same stuff, and they have a lot of events where they're going up against each other. Jaden Moore will be in the 200-meter dash, so she'll be going against Alex Scott in that. Iris Stahl in the 1500. She doesn't have any other Union area kids she's running against in that one. But Leighton Messenger in both hurdle events, the 100 and 400-meter hurdles, and then the shuttle hurdle team all making it for the Washington girls. Washington girls have the 5th best 4x1 relay. Mount Pleasant has the 4th best. Washington has the 5th best. Demon 4x4 team, the Demon 4x8 team, all qualifying for Washington. And then, I mentioned that Leighton Messenger of Washington is in the 100 hurdles and the 400 hurdles. And the shuttle hurdle, she will be going against Lily Berggren of Fairfield 3 times. Berggren qualifies in the 100-meter hurdles, the 400-meter hurdles, and the Fairfield shuttle hurdle team made it. So that's 3 events where those 2 schools will be going head-to-head. And then speaking of throwers, Elise Setterstrom for Fairfield qualifies in the discus. So a lot on the girls' side. And then on the boys' side, none for Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant got shut out, had some injuries, but 9 each for Fairfield and Washington. For Fairfield, Gabe Tejada, 3rd in the 800-meter run, 3rd qualifier in the 800-meter run coming into the meet. So that will be a big one to watch. Dylan Adam in the 400-meter hurdles. He was the main picture from my area, so he's in there in the newspaper. If you Dylan Adam fans want to scoop that one up. Trojan distance medley team gets in. Trojan shuttle hurdle team gets in. Trojan sprint medley team gets in. By the way, I said the shuttle hurdle team. I'm pretty sure that's shuttle hurdle qualifies on Thursday morning, right?
Yeah. So the girls, that's like the first thing on.
Yeah, they started out right with the shuttle hurdle.
The shuttle hurdle, that's 2A and 3A. So, I mean, we're going to get that right away at 9 a.m. That's the first event. I guess, I was thinking I had to leave at 5, but I probably could actually leave it I probably should leave it like 6, actually, because
what I like to do is,
parking is like the biggest thing, and I don't really want to park like 2 miles away.
That's true. And a little peek behind the curtain, because Hunter sometimes and I go the same time. We can't do that this year. But Hunter has like a nice parking. You have parking figured out because you park at the Drake campus and walk over. I can never figure that out, so I always park in the one across from like the Drake's basketball stadium, that parking lot. So I give myself like 45 minutes to an hour of space. That way I can get there. And then if I get there without any bathroom breaks, which I do often, not to brag, then I just like take a nap in my car. And then that kind of gets me reset to go and cover the event. But yeah, so that'll be early stuff. Real quick, let me just tell the story of the Waco girls were in the sprint medley one year, and we didn't have anybody for like 2 hours after that, because this is when I was just covering. Well, whenever we go to state track, I covered all 3, even before the union became the union. But Waco girls were in the sprint medley, and I got there just in time. Like I woke up at like 4:30 to get over there, and then they false started. And so I got there 2 hours early for no reason. But anyway, still bitter about that. Like that was like 7 years ago. So we have, we're talking about Fairfield boys. Fairfield jumpers. Eli Zillman and Ryan Giberson, 2-3 in the high jump. We know that they're the 2 of the best high jumpers. But they also had 2 in the long jump. In fact, Zillman's a top 5 long jumper.
Yep.
And Spencer McCready gets that second ticket. Mount Pleasant's Avon Trong, him and Zillman would have been, top 5, top 6 together if he didn't get hurt. But instead, the Union area just scoops up that second ticket because Spencer McCready will be there in the long jump. And then finally, the Washington boys. They got 9. Now 4 of those are Josh Anderson. He is in the 100, 200, 400, and 800 wheelchair events. He's got. I was looking it up, and he has out of the 3A kids. Of course, it's all together in the wheelchair events. Out of the 3A kids, he was number 1 in all 4 of those. Tyler Alderton in the 800, the 4x18, which you will see early on. That was one of the best 4x8 teams, qualified 3rd. That'll be one of the reasons why Hunter is waking up early on Thursday morning. Actually, when you've seen this, if you're watching this, the state track has just started. So Hunter is currently rubbing his eyes and watching shuttle hurdle right now. The Demon Distance Medley squad makes it. And then, of course, Grayson Hartman with the throwing events Discus, he was 4th best. Shot put, he was 3rd best. So 2 shots at state championships will be there, 1 each for him. So that's your 3A stuff, the big schools, the 3 big schools. As you see, there's plenty of opportunities for scoring for the 3. So excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an exciting, especially first day for Thursday. This is one of my favorite events to go through or go to of the year, just because it's just interesting to me to see. I don't like running myself, or that nature, but it's cool to see people that are really good at it do it. So
yeah, it is, and it's fun because there's there's different storylines. If somebody screws up, we always got the next kid.
Right. But we'll jump over to 1A and 2A, and there's a lot through here. So I'm just going to run through the list of each team as quickly as possible. And Andy did a great job of kind of breaking down who, I guess who we'll see tomorrow. I'll see tomorrow, basically, which is majority 2A and 3A in the mornings, and then 1A and 4A, as you mentioned, later in the evenings. But we'll kick off with the Winfield Mount Union girls. Josie Nelson will represent the Wolves in the 100-meter hurdles. Kinley Buffington, the freshman, gets there in the long jump, kind of following in her brother's footsteps a little bit there. For Waco, 4 qualifiers: Carly Lunsford in the 800-meter, Josie Dykstra in the 400-meter hurdles. And then the distance medley of Natalie Wagler, Taylon Egley, Josie Dykstra, and then Carly Lunsford again in the distance medley, as I mentioned. And then Bryn Graber in the high jump for the Warriors. Van Buren County, Kaylee Snowgren, 800-meter. The same quartet of Ada Troutman, Ava Loeffler, Daphne Wells, and Emma Coffin in the 4x2 and 4x1, that same group there. And then the Warriors, Rory Phillips, Gabby Titus, Riley Phillips, Kaylee Snowgren in the 4x8 as well for Van Buren County. For Pekin, Chloe Glosser, very good chance to win the state title. Her and the I was looking at it. She's second ranked in the 1500, and her and the other girl have they're 2 seconds, I think, separating those two. And then the rest of the field, the next closest is like 10 seconds or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
So good chance for her there in the 1500, and then she's in the 3000 as well. Paisley Coleman in the 100-meter hurdles, Casey Miller in the high jump, Anna Hadley obviously in the discus and shot, state champion discus thrower as a freshman. And then what she get top 3 last year, or second, I think.
Yeah, she won a state championship both years, I believe, in 2 different events. I have to check.
Yeah, she won the shot last year, right?
She is. Yeah, she's a contender, big time in both.
Yep, and then Tia Orgavani in the 100-meter 100-meter how do you say that?
Ambulatory.
Ambulatory. I'm like, I don't think I've ever said that.
Ambulatory. Yep.
Yeah, ambulatory. Para, and then Reese Brisby, Casey Miller, Carly Gamble, Paisley Coleman in the 4x1 for the Panthers. There. Hillcrest Academy, Marie Yoder in the 3,000-meter, Raya Scott in the 100-meter, Scott Delaney Shaw, Stavia Miller, and Karina Bora in the 4x2. Highland, 2 qualifiers: Cameron Fink, freshman in the 100-meter. Fink, Lily Bear, Alexa Hahn, and Maya Singmel in the 4x1 and 4x2 for that quartet there. Columbus girls, just 1 qualifier: Isabella Forbes in the shot put. And then jumping over in the boys class 1A, New London with 4 qualifiers. Obviously, London Franklin in the 100-meter and long jump. Him and Hillcrest Academy, who I'll get to, Owen Scott, are 1 and 2 in that event in the long jump. So that'll be an exciting little jump off there for those two who have basically competed all season long. Logan Franklin, London's brother, also qualifies in the long jump. He finished 3rd actually at the qualifying meet, but had a good enough jump to make it. Riley Rains in the 1,600-meter, one of the more exciting races from the state qualifying meet. Rains got 3rd and also qualified. Kale Westerbeck, Gavin Strawhacker, Brigham Porter, and London Franklin in that quartet in 2 events, 4x1 and the 4x2. Obviously, the Tigers with the best time, I think, in the 4x1 And then I think it's second best time maybe in the 4x2. They're definitely I think they're top 3 time in both of those events.
When you have what, so that makes them, New London has what, like 4 events that are top 3 or something like that.
Yep.
Those can add up. It only takes a handful of huge finishes to shoot up the standings. It's totally opposite of when they won state the other year. It was like they just had somebody in every event.
Yeah, every event.
And now they could possibly just get a ton of points in the long jump and sprints.
Right. For Winfield Mount Union, one qualifier, Colby Newsom, who I'll see on Thursday later in the night, 7:20 to be exact. In the 400 meter, he'll be competing there, 800 meter, and then 1600 meter as well. For Pekin, quite the list for the Pekin Panthers. Casey Davis in the 110 meter hurdles, Riley Smith in the 400 meter hurdles, Will Adam in the long jump, Robert Brown, Nolan Glick, Riley Smith, Will Adam in the 4x2. Brown, Adam, Casey Davis, Will Adam in the 4x110 meter shuttle hurdle. Davis, Brown, Smith, and Glick in the sprint medley. Mason Dahlstrom, Will Adam, Riley Smith, Nolan Glick in the 4x400. And then Dahlstrom, Lane Ferris, Landon McCrown, and Cole Milliken in the 4x8. So quite the list there for Pekin. They're right up there with Columbus as the most of the boys qualifiers. Total qualifiers there, but Van Buren County, Bryce Moquin, Caden Simmons, Isaac Loeffler, Lincoln Bainbridge in the distance medley. Moquin, Newcomb, Caden Simmons, Isaac Loeffler in the 4x2. Newcomb, Simmons, Loeffler, and Bainbridge in the 4x4, and then Lincoln Bainbridge also in the 200. Believe he's I think he's one of the top 3 times in that as well.
Yeah, that's another school, Van Buren County, that's going to that's only 4 events, but they're going to sneakily score a good amount of points, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, one of the teams that possibly could score the most points out of the Union area in Class 1A is Columbus. Obviously, led by I like to say dynamic duo of Alexander Reese and Lamar Snott. Both are stellar in their events. Alexander Reese makes it in the 200 meter, 110 meter hurdles. Obviously, Snott 200 meter, 110 meter hurdles. Reese and Snott went 1 and 2 in both of those events at the state qualifier, and obviously both have the fastest time in the 110 meter hurdles. They're 1 and 2 in that event. So, some big points there to be scored from those two for Columbus. Riley Cowberg also makes it in the 100 meter dash. Time used in the 1600 meter and 3200 meter. And then the shuttle hurdle relay of Reese, Snott, Jonathan Miranda, and Cowberg make it. Juan Charez, Reese, Snott, Riley Cowberg in the 4x1. And you mentioned New London had the fastest time in the state. Well, let me tell you, Columbus was neck and neck. I think it was like a couple hundredths of a second that separated those two in the 4x1 in the state qualifier. So it's going to be an exciting 4x1 because I know Lisbon has a really fast team too, as always. Looking forward to it. But Dakota Aney, Tyson Cowberg, Riley Cowberg, and Juan Charez in the 4x2, and then Ryan Villa, Ty Muniz, Cade Storm, Victor Tovar in the 4x8 for Columbus. So watch out for the Wildcats to be scoring a lot of points as well, because they're pretty good in about every event. Jumping over to Waco, Jude Dykstra in the 800 meter and 1600 meter. Gage Samo, Hayden Shellman, Loudinghausen Gay, Jude Dykstra in the distance medley. Hausen Gay in the high jump, and then Shellman in the long jump. Hillcrest Academy, I mentioned Nolan Scott earlier. He makes it in the 400 meter. And obviously he's the best, has the best long jump in Class 1A. So he'll be the favorite there in long jump. And then Cale Bailey makes it for Hillcrest Academy in high jump. The one qualifier from Kyoto is Aiden Galindo. I think he's the 3 or 4 seed in Class 1A high jump, if I remember looking at that right. So Glendo representing the Eagles there in the high jump, and he'll be right up there at the top of the hoping to be at the top of the standings in that event. Jumping over to 2A, and this is where we see our the most qualifiers out of pretty much any school, and that would be the Mid-Prairie Golden Hawks. A lot of qualifiers for them, so we're going to run through it here. Georgia Evans kind of bursted on the scene as a freshman. She's in 3 events, not counting the relay she's in. But so individually, she's in the 100-meter, 200-meter, and long jump. And, she has really fast times. I believe she's top 5 in all of those events. Definitely in long jump, she's top 2. So the Gold Hawks can score some big points here. Then Jovi Evans, her sister, in the 100-meter and 200-meter, joining her sister there. Kendall Landstrom in the 800-meter, Rachel Hostetler in the 800-meter, 1,500-meter, 3,000-meter. I mean, is it even right if we don't say if there's not a Hostetler at state track in the distance events?
Yeah, I know, and all 3 again too.
And then Brooklyn Stutzman, the 1,500-meter, 3,000-meter, Dessa Poole in the discus, Harper Pasha in the shot put, Sophie Miller, Tessa Bombay, Olivia Schlabach, and Ruby Miller in the 4x1 shuttle hurdle. Georgia Evans, Tessa Bombay, Miley Hirschberger, and Jovi Evans in the 4x1. Hirschberger, Hannah Rogers, Ruby Miller, Jovi Evans in the 4x2, and then Kendall Landstrom, Tessa Brokaw, Brooklyn Stutzman, and Rachel Hostetler in the 4x8 to round out the Golden Hawk girls there. And then Cardinal.
I counted 17 events for Mid-Prairie. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then one qualifier for Cardinal is Addison Adam in the 100-meter and 200-meter there. And then jumping over to 2A boys, Mid-Prairie once again leading the way. A lot of qualifiers on the boys' side as well. Ryan Henry's in the 100-meter, Jace Yoder in the 800-meter, Emmett Schwartz and Druber in the 1,600-meter and 3,200-meter. Preston UC in the 3,200. And then Jaden Stafford obviously will be some of the favorites here in the wheelchair events, 100-meter, 200-meter, 400-meter, 800-meter there. Thomas Lueck in the long jump, Caden Koss in the discus, Burke Berry in the shot put. He'll be one of the favorites to win the Class 2A shot put state title. I believe he's either the top throw or the second best throw in Class 2A on the season so far. Teammate Tommy Miller will be in the shot put as well. And then in the relays, Caden Koss, Ryan Henry, Cash Brown, Jace Yoder in the distance medley. Caden Koss, Kendrick Koss, Nolan Jurgens, and then Ryan Henry in the 4x1. And then Jurgens, Koss, Brown, and Henry in the 4x2 for the Golden Hawks there. So, whew.
Good work, Hunter.
That's a big list there of our area teams that'll be at state. So, it's going to be exciting.
Huge list, and I'll tell you what. If I could count on one hand the ones I'm most excited about, I cannot wait to see the Evans girls run against each other in the two individual sprints, because they could get 1-2. We have brothers and sisters going against each other in multiple events this year, which is pretty wild. It reminds me of the older Hostetlers used to. There was that sweet spot where Anna and Marie were in I went in high school at the same time, and they had a couple of events where they were 2 of the top girls. Those were distance events, but so that'll be. Hopefully, they can qualify first and second. They can run in side by side. That would be ideal.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
But we have just a ton. We have a ton of events where we're having our kids go against each other too. You mentioned Columbus and Egan, or Columbus and New London going against each other in a lot of stuff.
I think Thursday might be the busiest day technically, but
I think. Yeah, I agree. You're going Thursday. I'm going Friday, Saturday. I think we're going to end up with about the same amount of events.
The thing is like they have. The Thursday is they have the preliminary kind of stuff, so that just adds a little bit to it. But it's not you. So you'll still have to do like the finals and stuff, which is
we'll see some of the same kids. Yeah. Hopefully, because they make it.
Hopefully, they can qualify, because it's top 8. Top 8, you have to get in the.
Yep, you gotta get top 8
in the preliminary rounds there to advance to the final. But it should be exciting.
Like the 4x1 and the shuttle and stuff like that. There's
we've got a lot of should be a really exciting track meet, and we should have a lot of high finishers based on how they performed this season.
We should. There won't be a lot of time to breathe. Luckily for both of us, the Thursday and Friday, the 1A kids, which we have a ton of, are in with the 4A kids, and we don't have any 4A schools, so we'll have a little time to actually take a breath. 2A and 3A might be a little wild with how many mid-prairies bringing to the 2As and all our 3A kids. So,
I'm glad I'm going to Thursday too, because I really enjoy watching I like the field events too. I always like.
Me too.
The thing I'm most excited about is I always like the interviews after, just to get like how they.
Me too.
How they're, just how it feels, and I try not to like talk to any. I mean, I probably should talk to people like after they qualify, but I always like talking to them at state just because it's
I like. Oh, you mean after they qualify for state? Yeah, I talked to a couple after they qualified, but I thought you meant in the preliminaries. Because one thing I always try and do is because some kids, they'll get done with like, especially on Saturday, you'll have a kid get done with like the 100-meter dash final or whatever, and then they get surrounded by interviewers, and they have to get back to get to the 200-meter dash or the 110 hurdles or whatever right after that. So I try and wait until the kids are all done. But sometimes that's tough too. So we'll be talking to a lot of kids, taking a lot of pictures, and the weather is not going to be bad one way or the other. It might be a little rainy, but it's not
going to be a little chilly tomorrow, I think.
Yeah,
might be a little
but I think it went up. I think the projections snuck up a little bit. I think they might be almost perfect hunter weather. I like it a little warmer, but
61's the high. Which isn't too bad.
61's the high. Oh, yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe I was looking at Friday and Saturday.
Might need a sweatshirt, but it'll be okay.
That's all right. That's all right. Perfect running weather. And the weather's always perfect to watch some Prep Sports Plus. And you guys are going to get that chance because this is only the A block. When we come back to the B block, we got golf and tennis, and we have state qualifiers. So stick with us.
Introducing Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every meal is a delight. Start your day with our mouthwatering breakfast options and savor flavorful lunches with friends and family. Cap off your day with our delectable dinners. Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every moment is delicious.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
Washington County Hospital and Clinics, providing quality health care that puts you first. Whether during a hospital stay, seeing a primary care provider for wellness exams or sick visits, minor surgery to a total joint replacement, or recovering from an injury, we're here when you need us.
More than you expect for your health care. Washington County Hospital and Clinics.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus. For this next segment, we have to warn you, we cover this. We tape this on Wednesday. It's now Thursday when you're watching it. So a couple of these things, we're talking about golf and tennis, and there's some golf and tennis going on right now. But first, let's talk, Hunter, about what we've seen the last week as far as state qualifiers. You have seen a good amount of golf, and then we sent you sent the old Washington boys on their way after their sectional win. Tell me how they did, and then we have some 1A qualifiers as well.
Yeah, obviously Washington was over there, and at their home home course there, ended up getting second in that meet to advance to the district round, which was held in Manchester, Iowa, which is West Delaware is the school there hosting. And that district round ended up being a kind of a tough one for the Demons. Obviously, a lot of great teams there in the district round, but Demons do get one individual through to the state tournament. I believe that's the fourth straight year that Washington will be represented at the 3A state tournament. Drew Conrad, Junior Drew Conrad, is that individual. He finished third place at the district tournament, and Pin Oak Links was the name of that course there in Manchester. But finished with an 8 over par, 79. As I mentioned, take third overall individually. The Demons fell obviously short, as I mentioned, as a team, finished sixth with a score of 342. West Delaware, who was the host, 321 on the day. Solon, who actually won in Washington in that sectional meet, took second with a 323. West Liberty 327, who was also at the sectional in Washington, and then Decorah 330, and then Marion 334. So individually, also for Washington in that district meet, Rajon Roth with an 87, Cole Vetter and Carson Brown each with an 88, Connor Leiden with a 91 there. So for Conrad, he's moving on. The rest of the Demons season comes to a close. But Conrad will be heading up to Pheasant Ridge Golf Course in Cedar Falls, which I've been to when the Washington girls played there. I had a really good team. That was 2 years ago.
I'll tell you what, the Conrads have been there too then, because McKenna Conrad played for those Washington girls teams.
Yep. So he'll be heading up to a familiar place that he's probably seen his sister play at. So
there we go.
Yeah. So that's the lone qualifier out of the 3A boys area. Obviously, Mount Pleasant I'll mention was in that sectional meet in Washington. Didn't get a top two individual there, or and also didn't get the top two finishes as a team as well. So Mount Pleasant ended its season there in Washington, and then Fairfield was over in Knoxville, right? And the Trojans, kind of the same thing happened for them over there in Knoxville as well. So, yep, Drew Conrad, the lone 3A Union area golfer left alive.
The lone wolf, at least boys. Girls are we're figuring that today. Somebody needs to play their heart out today. They're off. But our golfers, they sent our golfers a ways, even for districts. Because usually you'll be like, oh yeah, the 1A kids are out there golfing in Wapello or whatever to go to state. And anyway, they're a little far. But speaking of 1A boys, we got one team through.
Yes, we did. Sorry, I realized you were talking to me for a second. I was like,
I was.
And I was like, oh yeah, I do have that. But we got 1A boys team through, and it's defending state 1A champions in golf, Hillcrest Academy, back to the state tournament once again. That was last year they won the state title. Yeah, it was. So they're going to be heading back up to state. They had their 1A district tournament at Heritage Oaks Golf and Country Club in Wapello. The Ravens finished third as a team with a 346. Got the better of both Keota and Winfield Mount Union for third there. Liam Schrock led the way. He was the individual champion. Shot a 3 over par 75. Rowan Miller with a 79 for fourth overall. Ethan Yoder 75, and Lawson Schrock with a 97. Actually, maybe it was 2023 that they won. Maybe it was 2 years ago.
Let me look it up.
It's going to bother me.
I feel like it was last year. My brain to remember what I was at. I was definitely at state girls last year, because New London and Highland were both there. And then we might have maybe a Winfield kid. Let me see. Hillcrest State Golf Champions. I just Googled that not Googled that. I just searched that on Southeast Iowa Union. SoutheastIowaUnion.com. That might have been even more than 2 years ago. No, that's not true. That was from forever ago.
I think it's last year. I could be wrong, but
might have been last year. Anyway,
anyway, in that one, not to get sidetracked, but I'm just going through for the finish for Winfield Mount Union in here as well. The Wolves were 11 strokes back from the Ravens, and Max Edwards shot an 82 to lead WMU, and then Cody Milks 91. Justin Kuiper and junior Grant Anderson 92, and then St. John Brown with a 95, Nick Sparrow 99 for WMU there. Keota got an 84 from Brendan McGuire. That was 10th overall. But they were 7 strokes back from Hillcrest Porter Cave 86, Tucker Sprouse 91, and then Billy Kindred with a 92 there. So, yep, Hillcrest Academy, the lone 1A boys team to be making the trip to the state tournament once again. So, shout out to the Ravens.
Shout out to the Ravens. Yeah, we got regional finals in where is everybody right now? North Mahaska. We have a couple teams. Highland looks to get back at North Mahaska. That's where our 1A schools are. And then right now our 3A schools. Washington is over there in Williamsburg. Now Washington didn't have enough to score in the SEC meet because of injuries and stuff like that. And then over there in Oskaloosa, we got Fairfield and Mount Pleasant going at it, but there are some good teams that they are going against. So it's going to be a tough ride for our 3A schools. We know that Highland has been awesome all year in Class 1A, so they have a shot over there at North Mahaska right now. I think what's the site that they use for the? I bet I could log on right now and. What's the name of the site? The new live site, Kodiak or something?
Well, the state stuff is going to be on iowapgajunior.bluegolf.com.
Oh, look at you, Hunter! Look at you, Hunter! That was smooth.
You like that?
Yeah, you are there. You are ready. Well, so yeah, because you can do live golf. I've loved the live stuff, like during conference meets and stuff, just to be able to have it on my phone and be like, the technology it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. Hunter.
Oh, I forgot to mention. So the Ravens will be at South Hills Golf Course in Waterloo. So they'll be going to Waterloo for their state.
Waterloo. That seems like a far way away, but that's like the second closest one to us. We have some tennis qualifiers. So tennis does it weird. They have an individual tournament and a team tournament. Individually, we have 3 qualifiers, and they all play for the Fairfield Trojans. The girls' qualifier was last week. I don't think I talked about it, but I might have. But Pujita Mukadam, who famously played until like 11 p.m. one year when they screwed up and gave too many teams in the Fairfield bracket. She will be going in singles. Natalie Steele will be going in singles for the Trojans. They face each other in the regional championship. And that's up there in Waterloo as well. And then Raymond Luau dominated the district singles bracket last week as well. So that's 3 state tennis qualifiers. There's a little bit of a gap before state tennis. And the reason is because of the team tournament. Hunter saw Fairfield knock out Mount Pleasant in girls tennis 5-6 days ago. Fairfield was able to advance all the way past Central DeWitt, but then played up at Xavier yesterday and fell in a 5-0 sweep. So they are out, the Fairfield girls. The Fairfield boys, by the time you guys watch this, will figure out if they can keep their undefeated streak alive. They have to go up to number 1 seed Pella. That is this evening. Now, we'll be at soccer this evening as well. So there will be today, the day before you're watching this, there is postseason golf, postseason tennis, postseason soccer, all in one day. So, and then tomorrow kicks off the spring sports are coming to a speed end here.
This is like the busiest time, like usually like May 20th. This is definitely probably arguably the busiest week of our cover, like across the whole year. This is arguably the busiest time, probably the whole year, just because there's so many sports in this. There's so many sports in the spring, and so like spring going into summer, there's so many sports, and if you have a lot of good teams and kind of their state and their qualifying are all at the same time.
Yes, they are. And then literally, we're not even talking about baseball today, but we had our first baseball games last night.
Yep.
But when we come back, we're going to talk about what Hunter and I are going to do after we tape this show, which is cover a couple of big regional soccer games tonight. So you're going to stick with us. You're going to come back. We're going to talk a little soccer. Get on the pitch. We'll be back.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
At Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you to that dream vacation with a savings account designed to help get you on the flight there. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
Bring the kids, share the memories, celebrate 75 years of traditions at the Midwest Old Threshers Reunion. Relive the magic of steam engines, antique cars, and trucks, tractors, gas engines, and horses. Whether it's your first visit or a cherished tradition, you'll enjoy the delicious foods, the thrill of an Old West shootout, and the excitement of nightly grandstand entertainment. For 75 years, this has been the place where memories are made at the 2025 Midwest Old Threshers Reunion, August 28th through September 1st in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. Visit oldthreshers.com for more details.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Welcome. Southeast Iowa Union Prep Source Plus, powered by Fairway Food Stores, the best place to get your meat, the best place to get your groceries, the best place to get anything. Why don't you step in there and get a little warm today? It's a little chilly outside. Next week, probably going to have the air conditioning on. Hunter, we both saw some fun soccer games last night. It is playoff soccer. We basically skipped soccer for like a 2-week period because we're at so much postseason stuff for track, tennis, and golf. But soccer goes back into the limelight. Is that what it's called? The limelight. Why don't you talk about your? You were at Fairfield High School last night for a little Trojan Reds, Big Reds action. What happened last night at Centerville?
This might be the craziest game I've seen all season long. And what's crazy about this one is Fairfield just played Centerville last week, beat the Big Reds 6-1. The postseason soccer, man, is different. It's different. And Fairfield not really escapes, I guess, holds down its home field 1-0 over the Big Reds this time around. So go from a 6-1 loss or a 6-1 win for Fairfield, and this time around a 1-0 win. And let me tell you, the air was thick late in this game. Fairfield needed pretty much about every basically actually did need every minute, nearly every second of this one to pull out the win. You could kind of tell in the game Fairfield was kind of the more sound team, obviously, with their passes. I mean, they were just berating Centerville basically all game long. Could never get into the back of the net. And obviously, shout out Centerville did a pretty dang well defensively, kind of getting a foot on balls that were just inside the box. The Big Reds goalkeeper, Alex Morgan, was stellar and had him down for 18 saves on the night. So Fairfield was really, dude, it was they were really sending balls at him, and he was doing well to save him, and their back line was doing very well as well. But Fairfield finally needed a break. You felt like it was going to be one of those games that Fairfield, like late in the game, that Fairfield needed a goal and you didn't want this to go to.
Because the magic would be there.
Yeah, it felt like there was some kind of magic in the air for Centerville, which is how the game had been going. It's like, they're going to get one of those long through balls through and get a one-on-one with the keeper. But as I mentioned, Morgan had been pretty flawless through that point. I'm getting saves, but with 49 seconds left, I can't remember who it was, got a nice little foot to the ball on the right side of the goal. Morgan did get a hand on it, like he was trying to catch it, but it slips through his hands, hits the crossbar, the inside of the crossbar, and Fairfield sophomore Lane Stever gets a wide open, like there is no one within 5 feet of the ball and him in front of the net. So literally tap in to take the lead with 49 seconds left to make it 1-0. And that ended up being the game winner. But before that, Centerville needed, basically a big break, a miracle, whatever you want to call it at this point in time. Because Fairfield had been in control in the, possession probably. I mean, I bet possession was probably 95 to 5% wise. But Centerville kind of pushes down. They're moving up the pitch. Defenders are now on the offensive side of the ball at this point, and the Big Reds get across, and it goes right in front of the net, Fairfield. And I'm not kidding. A kid puts up. I couldn't see because I was on the other side of the field. Really, I couldn't tell the number, but a kid got a knee up on it, but couldn't quite get it all the way, and there was no one on the left side of the net. And it could have, if he would have got a foot to it, it was basically a tap-in goal. But the ball was it was in that position of being kind of chest level, a little bit lower level. So, I mean, it was kind of it would have been a high kick to get your leg up on it. It almost had to be like a low header or, hit it in with your chest or something. But, so that was a scary moment for Fairfield because just as fast as they tied it up with 49 seconds to go, Centerville dang near ties it up there was 10 seconds left at that time when that ball got crossed. So Fairfield kind of escapes that scare there from Centerville. A team, as I mentioned, just beat 6-1. They talked a little bit about the nerves. Probably I felt like they were a little nervous. They were, the feeling from the first half to the second half was a bit there was definitely a different feeling. Like obviously they controlled in the first half, but they didn't look as sound. And then in the second half, they really kind of upped their game offensively. But kudos to Centerville for really holding on through that whole attack until that final minute score there. So bit of drama there in Fairfield. For a team that they handled pretty well just last week. And but as I mentioned, postseason and everything is different. There's always a little magic in the air, it feels like. So but Fairfield gets it done. They advance to the next round, and big win for Fairfield. First postseason win for them this season.
Yeah, and now Fairfield will play in Mount Pleasant 1 week from the game that you're just talking about on the 27th. So I just realized Fairfield and Mount Pleasant, they played in girls tennis in the postseason. They will be running against each other in a couple of state track events. And now they're playing in boys soccer. By the way, that bracket with Mount Pleasant, Washington, and Fairfield, I just had it pulled up and I clicked on a different one, but here I am. So Washington's out, Centerville's out. Williamsburg hosts Clark, and Mount Pleasant hosts Fairfield. So that actually clinched a Union area team in the state qualifier final, which will be taking place on the 29th. We just don't know what's going to be Mount Pleasant or Fairfield. So there we go. Oh, by the way, I just spoiled, what I was going to talk about with Washington, but Washington did play.
I was going to say, you want me to say what the girls' score was real quick at Fairfield? I was at that Fairfield.
Oh, yeah, you were. Oh, now, look. Forgot to mention I had a dog with me. You talk about the girls. I'm muting myself.
Okay. Yeah, I was also in Fairfield the night before, so Monday night, to watch the Fairfield girls play their opening round game against Central Lee. This one was cut short to weather. They did make it through the first half. Fairfield led 4-0 at the half, got goals from Lexi Mass. She opened the scoring, and then Emma Metcalf had back-to-back goals for Fairfield, and then Haley Strickland, lone senior for Fairfield, ends the scoring for them to put them up 4-0. It was 1-1 early, but Fairfield gets the 3 goals there through the rest of the first half. And then lightning delay happened, and they had probably the closest they ever got was down to probably about 14 minutes. Lightning struck again, and overall couldn't play it, but game still counted because they got through that half of play. So Fairfield gets the first round win on the girls' side, 4-1, only playing 40 minutes. So they advance, and I think they play Assumption, which is a very good. I think if I remember right, looking at that, I think I put that story. They played Assumption. I'm gonna look it up quick. Maybe.
Yeah, you can
yes,
look that
they
up.
do. They will head to Assumption on
today.
Because
we're going to cover girls soccer.
Yesterday, if you're watching this.
Yesterday, if you're watching that. Yeah, that's right. Because Hunter and I are going to cover girls soccer. Hunter's got Mount Pleasant, Mid Prairie tonight.
Should be a good game, though.
Yeah, that should be a fun one. And then I've got Washington. Oh, my gosh. Who am I going to cover them playing against tonight? West Liberty? I believe Washington, West Liberty, right, Hunter?
I think so.
Right,
and
Peter?
West Liberty's usually a pretty good team, too.
Oh, wait a minute. I need info on Peter because this is at Washington High School, but it's a playoff game. I'm guessing that we have rights to broadcast it, right, Peter? They're broadcasting tonight, so I'll be there. We'll have the broadcast tonight. And that brings me to my next point. Washington falls 3-1 to Clark County, but go watch Jack cover the game remotely on SCC TV. And did we simulcast it, Peter? Oh, no. But SCC TV, we had our announcer there, Mr. Jack. So yeah, Washington boys are out. Mount Pleasant and Fairfield boys are playing each other. I was at boys soccer yesterday, so let me go through some small school scores. I was at the Danville-Waco game in Danville. This one was, Hunter talks about his crazy game. Danville wins this one 3-1. They scored right away in the first 10 minutes, and then Waco had about 17 times where it looked like they were going to tie the game. They had a penalty kick that was saved. They had 2 corner kicks that ended up in a scramble situation where the ball was loose in front of the net. Couldn't get that one, and Danville went up 2-0, and then a goal from Kieran Luchens cut it to 2-1, and then once again Waco had a couple chances to tie it up. Tristan Luchens had one that went off the crossbar. Danville had like 5 shots go off the crossbar or the post, but with just over 6 minutes left, the Bears put in the dagger to win it 3-1. But it was a wild and crazy contest between Danville and Waco. That was in 1A5. Also in 1A5, Sigourney Kyoto was down at Central Lee. They lost 6-2. So those were your 2 pigtail or playing games or whatever. They're down to the semifinals. So Danville's got West Liberty in the next round on the 27th. West Liberty is the number 1 seed. We also had rivalry night at Kelowna, and I don't know how they got this one in because it was pouring. But Hillcrest Academy beats Mid Prairie 5-1. 5 different scores for Hillcrest Academy to win this one. Micah Gerber scores. Anel Satul Sombrero scores. Mason Helmy scores. Mason Bender scores. And Andrew Kaufman scores. 1 goal apiece. It was actually a 1-0 lead at halftime for Mid Prairie, but they for Hillcrest, but they ended up beating Mid Prairie. And that is revenge for last year when Mid Prairie knocked Hillcrest out of the boys soccer tournament. Hillcrest will be going to Sheraton, Iowa, to play the Chargers. My cousin plays goalie for that Sheraton team. And then we've got Van Meter and Grandview Christian on the other end. Yes, that's sad news that I said Grandview Christian instead of Highland, and the reason I did is because Grandview Christian 2-1 over Highland last night. Highland had a great run here. They were our furthest team in the Super Conference tournament, made the semifinals. They were playing pretty well, but they fall to Grandview Christian last night in Riverside. That was in Class 1A Sub-State.
What a trip for Grandview Christian, man.
Yeah, tell me about it, right? That's a first-round game. It's hard in soccer because everyone's 1A or 2A.
Yeah.
And then we got soccer for our teams. A lot of them are just, we just talked about them with Mid Prairie, Mount Pleasant, and Hunter's got Washington. So we'll at least have one team left after tonight, hopefully two. I think that we're in for a couple of. I've got Washington. You've got the Mount Pleasant game. Hunter's gotta get that game covered, and then go to bed so we can go to track tomorrow. So that's it. Stick with us. The paper will be filled with stuff next week. We will be watching. You might already know what happened with the girls' golf that's going on right now. Boys tennis. We could have state qualifiers coming in. Basically, it's chaos right now. But we'll see you in Des Moines, right, Hunter?
Yes, sir.
We will see you in Des Moines. And if you finish well, be looking for us. We'll be tracking you down for interviews. So.
Peace. We'll see you next week.